June's finally here, and with it comes a whole new list of games and expansions. As usual, we've gone ahead and put together a list of 10 games that we found to be the most interesting. I'm your host Morgan, and these are our top picks for the month of June. Kicking off the month of June, we've got Grave Gunner. This one is a fast-paced arena FPS similar to the likes of Devil Daggers, which we quite enjoyed. In this game, you'll be playing as a gunslinger while you try to survive against waves of enemies, with a total of 13 that increase in difficulty as you progress. One of the features that will separate this one from its competition is the movement system. It's going to allow things such as sliding, rocket jumping, and the traditional bunny hopping. If you want to test your spatial awareness, this one will be releasing on PC on June 3rd. The next day, we'll be getting Destiny's last expansion, The Final Shape. This time around, you'll be journeying into the heart of the Traveler as you pursue the Witness for a final showdown. As usual, this means there's going to be a new raid, new weapons, and armor. There will also be the introduction of a new subclass called Prismatic, which combines all the previous classes together. So far, everything we've seen looks like great strides in the right direction, and we're hoping this one will be on level with Forsaken and the Witch Queen to help bring some light back into the franchise. If you're looking to see what lies inside the Traveler, you'll be able to do so on all major platforms except Switch on June 4th. On the same day, we also get Killer Klowns from Outer Space, which is an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game based around the 80s cult classic movie. In it, you can either take on the role of the killer clown as you seek to harvest the human population, or you can assume the role of a human and attempt to survive the invasion. The matches are composed of 3 killer clowns versus 7 humans, and are pretty much a game of hide and seek, as with most games in this genre. The reviews on Steam from those who bought early access are mostly positive, so it seems to be off to a good start compared to a lot of the games these days. If you're looking for some good old nostalgia mixed with some murderous clowns, this one will be releasing on all major platforms except Switch on June 4th. Also on the same day, we get Rolling Hills Make Sushi Make Friends. This one is a cozy restaurant game where you play as a robot who's recently taken over a restaurant in the peaceful community of Rolling Hills. You'll gradually become a more advanced chef, opening opportunities to learn new recipes, buy new ingredients, and customize your restaurant to your personal tastes. Outside of work, you'll be able to make friends with the locals and help them with their day-to-day needs. If you enjoy relaxing sim games, this one might be one you want to give a shot. It'll be releasing on PC and Xbox on June 4th. 10 days later, we get Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengence, which is Shin Megami Tensei 5, but with more content. If you haven't experienced a Shin Megami game, it's a JRPG. This one takes place in the destroyed city of Tokyo, ravaged by a war between angels and demons. The game offers 2 separate story paths full of choices that you'll have to make based on what you believe is the right ideology to fight for. There's also a recruitment system that lets you add demons to your team with a current roster of over 270. If you've never tried Shin Megami out and you're a JRPG fan, this one should make an excellent addition to your game list, and it'll be releasing on all major platforms on June 14th. 4 days later, we get Still Wakes the Deep. This is a narrative horror game taking place on an oil rig off the coast of Scotland in 1975. The rig has begun collapsing due to an unknown horror, and now you must attempt to save your crew and survive. Along the way, you'll deal with the struggles of isolation in an ever-changing environment. The game is being developed by the Chinese Room, the same company that developed Amnesia, a machine for pigs. So needless to say, if you like atmospheric horror games, this one is probably going to be a good one to add to your collection. If you're down to be trapped at sea with a perilous threat looming, this one will be releasing on all major platforms except Switch on June 18th. Also on the same day, we get #Blood, a hand-drawn video game reminding you of the cartoons from the 90s. The basic premise of the game is that Becky and her dad have recently moved to a new town for a fresh start, but things take a turn for the worst when an evil vampire arises to take over. Unfortunately for them, Becky comes from a long line of vampire hunters, and she's ready to bring justice with her evil-slaying hockey stick named Brenda. It's a wacky game with a lot of potential, and it's gems like these we love to be surprised by. If you're looking to slay evil forces with a hockey stick, you'll be able to do so on all platforms on June 18th. Still on the same day, we'll be getting Soulmask. This one is another open-world survival craft game on our list, though it's quite different from any of the others we've covered this year. For example, you can acquire followers for your clan that you can not only assign tasks to, but change bodies with if you happen to find an NPC with talents and skill that you prefer over your own. Which means you'll be able to manage the skills of every NPC that you recruit to your village through a pretty decent skill tree system. There's also the mask system, where you can change out the mask you wear to acquire different passive buffs, and the more you play, the more masks you'll acquire. If you want to go ahead and pick this one up, it's in early access over on Steam and has received mostly positive reviews. Or, full access will be on June 18th, exclusively on PC. 2 days later, we get Asaka, which is yet another open-world survival game to add to our ever-growing list that we've been getting this year. Set in the Viking era, you'll be able to explore a procedurally generated world, command NPC villagers to help with various tasks, and obviously build up your Viking village with houses, workshops, farms, and defenses. All in all, it looks good, and if you're in the market to try a new survival game, this one is definitely worth checking out at the very least. If you're interested in creating your own Viking tribe, you'll be able to do so on PC on June 20th. On that same day, we also get Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. This one has a lot of hype going for it, and for good reason, as Elden Ring is such a phenomenal game, and this is the first and only DLC they plan to release for it. It's going to bring more lore, new bosses, dungeons, equipment, and a new story following Miquella in the Land of Shadows. We won't delve into any spoilers, but for $40, you can bet they're going to deliver enough content to keep you engaged for many, many hours. If you're looking to put yourself through another round of brutal combat, you'll be able to do so on all platforms except Switch on June 20th. 5 days later, we'll be getting Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. This one is the latest in their long-running franchise, and with it comes a new feature utilizing the Switch's motion controls called Spin Dash, where you build up momentum by spinning around and then launch off in the direction you're pointing. Outside of that, it's mostly the same game it's always been. There are 200 new stages for you to tackle, 4-player local co-op, and up to 16-player online battles with multiple different modes to choose from. If you happen to have little kids around your house like we do, this one's probably a solid choice. It'll be releasing exclusively on Switch on June 25th. That's going to round off our list for this month. However, on June 7th, we're getting Summer Games Fest, which should help reveal a lot more upcoming games. Hopefully with it, we might get some surprise hits this month. Either way, we'll be sure to let you know about all the updates and info coming down the pipe. Be sure you're subscribing if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Say that it feels right.